Just when you thought it was safe to come out, well, the FBI decides to get into cryptocurrency. This is wild. For many of you that know, back in 2021, there was a project by the name of SAITAMA. This thing absolutely exploded. In fact, I covered some of it on this channel. Well, turns out what a lot of people were saying was that this wasn't quite as legitimate as I think a lot of people expected, or equally what they said. Well, turns out the day in court is about to come. We're going to break down exactly what's going on with this SAITAMA case, as well as looking at some possible bullish news coming for Bitcoin this week. All of that in this video, so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Let's get into it. So, for many of you that were around in 2021, SAITAMA was one of these tokens that seemed to take the cryptocurrency space by storm. It reached a $7.5 billion market cap and it was absolutely everywhere. There was basketball players, football teams, you name it. People were involved in it, and this thing went wild. Now, it started to kind of come unhinged when they were ultimately committing to building things that, well, weren't possible. And it all came to a big head in a massive Las Vegas kind of show where they didn't deliver on what they were expected. And a lot of people started to ask some questions as to exactly where this was going to go. Now, fast forward a number of years, I think a lot of people moved on. A lot of people assumed, well, they took the money and ran. Well, turns out that's not the case. The FBI actually setting up a fake cryptocurrency token to catch some of these individuals, so far seizing $25 million in assets and ultimately disabled trading bots and many others. So this is kind of wild to think about. But to say the US government has indicted 18 individuals and companies for fraud and market manipulation in the crypto industry. Charges were unsealed in Boston, targeting leaders from 4 cryptocurrency firms and 4 financial service companies known as market makers. Scale on a little bit as to kind of how this was talking about. And ultimately, you can see here, 4 of the defendants have already pleaded guilty, while others have agreed to do the same. Meanwhile, 3 more defendants have been appended in Texas, the UK, and Portugal. Pretty crazy to think about. It says here, Next Fund AI was a fake crypto company and token set up by the FBI to infiltrate the fraudulent markets. This is actually bigger than I think a lot of people first thought. And again, this is the actual United States District Court of Massachusetts claim against it. You can see here, look, we got the defendant Ricky Lau, we've got co-conspirators Maxwell Hernandez. Many of you will know that Max was the guy behind the DApp, Russell Arman, Nam Tram, Manpreet Kaur, Michael Thompson, and the SAITAMA LLC. So these are now all pleading guilty to wire fraud, misappropriation of funds, committing wire fraud, and many others. This thing is absolutely wild. Yes, we're seeing a little bit of a market cool off, no surprise, but this is a calculated and deliberate move. And absolutely interestingly, ZachXBT warned community to be wary of any projects that involved GotBit because they were leaked reports to show highly questionable services offered. These are all to do with market makers, ultimately bots pumping and dumping tokens. And the fact the FBI are in it is absolutely wild. So I'll tell you what I'm interested in. Let me know in the comments down below. Were you involved in the 2021 SAITAMA hype? Did you buy? Did you sell? Did you make? Did you lose? Let me know. I'm dead interested to connect with some of you down there in the chat. But this is obviously pretty crazy. There's actually a form up here that you can fill in if you were affected by it. And again, some of these Robo Inu, VZZN, Lillian Finance. Remember the guy that got his daughter to talk about going on Coinbase? Turns out, well, that was a load of rubbish as well. And then SAITAMA said to Realty, and more recently, SAITA Chain. So this thing really is like a house of cards that is completely falling to pieces. And all of these people, like we said, have pleaded guilty. So this thing is absolutely wild. Now, I'm not predicting the entire market's collapsing based upon this, but I guess justice is almost served, especially when you started to see developers buying brand new cars, Lamborghinis, and many others. And again, this is a moment in history for the DeFi space that I think a lot of people would like to move on. But like we said, justice feels like it's about to be served. What else we got going on in the market? Well, US stocks hit a potential low as that in CPI data is due to come in tomorrow. Now we're expecting 0.2 versus 0.3, which would be good news. And actually, the CME Fed Watch looking like we may see a further 50 basis points cut in November. Now, be clear, that will be a very electoral move, but I guess this is obviously important as we start to move through the market and get ready for what we all think is coming, which is a very strong bull market indeed. Now, you could argue and look at the price and really challenging where we sit. We've just flicked into a new day as I'm recording this video here, but we did actually get about a 4% decline yesterday in the price of Bitcoin, holding on though this to 50-day simple moving average. Now, what we do need to see is a reversal. We don't want to see this come much lower. This would give us a lower low, and we just printed that lower high as well as a higher high. So 2 very good indicators that we are on the way up. Again, we don't want to see this come lower. This will be bad news from a technical standpoint, and again, we want to see it push back to the upside. So If we were to summarize exactly what the hell's happened today, the FBI apparently doing this huge sting to grab the SAITAMA devs and are now going to basically chuck them in prison. Pretty crazy if you ask me. And that CPI data coming soon. So again, you couldn't get any wilder, but that's why we love cryptocurrency. That's why we're involved in it. And ultimately, that's why it's important to educate, understand, and follow good people. And that's why you should hit that subscribe button and follow this channel. We try and bring you the latest and greatest in cryptocurrency, be as transparent as we can. But yeah, SAITAMA, who would have thought we'd have got to this place? $7.5 billion market cap, going to be the next big thing. The future of finance was the strapline, all coming down like a big house of cards. And it looks like there's going to be some casualties. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, though. Were you involved in it? Did you get involved? Did you buy, sell, and everything else? I'm always interested to know. And hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to turn that notification bell on so you don't miss a beat or our live streams or our latest content right here on the 2Bit Crypto channel. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.